for auction or for sale. A couple in New York bought it at a blind sale. They never saw anything inside. And they paid $100. So they opened it up. They had a blanket over the submarine. It had a dent in the roof. And the guy who bought it said he had never seen a James Bond movie before. He had no idea what it was. He was towing it home, and he started getting calls on his CB from truckers saying, "Hey, I see you got the James Bond submarine." But that was quite a good investment. So they restored it, and it toured the U.S., went into the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles, and eventually, I have some shots here of, this is Rick's Restorations, where they pulled it out of the Bahamas, where it looked terrible. And then, so eventually, Michael Deezer, from the Deezer Museum in Miami, hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, he did do the stuff. But after the movie, the car was still retained by Lotus. Several years later, however, they needed some money, and they sold off some of their memorabilia, of which the car was one. And so it went to the Cars and the Stars Museum in England. A number of years later, Michael Deezer, who's a real estate developer out of Miami, started a museum, the James Bond Museum in Miami, and he bought the entire James Bond vehicle collection from Cars and the Stars. In fact, he has the largest James Bond vehicle collection in the world. He has, I think, 59 vehicles of all types. So he commissions Doug Redenius of the Ian Fleming Foundation to go to the Bahamas and rescue one of the shells, the one with the wheels folding in. And so that's the pictures that I just showed you before on Rick's Restorations. Then they restored it, and he put it on eBay for a measly price of $1 million. It, however, did not sell. But I was in Las Vegas this past fall, and he had moved it out there, and I got to see it. But it's just on a pedestal. It doesn't go on land, it doesn't go on the water. At least mine goes in the water.
So on yours, on your boat, did you build that? Is that based on the original Lotus, or is it? So your boat, is that based on, is that a
I'm getting to that. Just give me a moment.
Can you tell me the name of that museum again? You just said that had all these bomb cars?
That's right.
It's either called the Deezer or the Desert Museum.
Michael Deezer's, the Deezer Museum, D-E-Z-E-R Museum in Miami.
And they've got a huge collection of cars. I mean, the bomb section is very large, but the thing is huge.
So they've got the car that was actually used in the movie, and, so I'm getting to this.
That's why I asked.
He's also got a hotel down in Miami Beach. If you stay at the hotel, you get a discount for the museum.
In 2013, RM Cars did an auction in England on the submarine. And the winning bidder was Elon Musk for a measly $984,000. So this past fall, I was in California, and I stopped by Palo Alto, Tesla headquarters, where Elon Musk is, because I heard he had it on display. So we pulled up front, walked in. There were a couple ladies at the front desk, about 21 years old, and they acted like I was a spy there to steal corporate secrets. So they ushered me out with security. I explained what I had, and that I had the only one in the world that actually went in the water. Even Elon Musk's submarine now isn't operational in the water. So I figured I'd at least get to see it and meet him, but none of that occurred. So that was my experience with the real submarine and Elon Musk. So my vehicle, which is a replica of the boat, the submarine, a designer in Wales, in the UK, had a Lotus, and he was a designer by trade. So he took a Lotus shell that had no engine or interior, sealed the bottom, put the fins on the side, put a periscope on it. It has a revolving license plate in the back, a couple little guns, and put a boat motor in it. It's a real boat. And I've had it in Lake Lanier about 10 times, and so far I've stayed above water. That's exactly where I want to be. So I call mine the Lotus, James Bond Lotus Esprit Marine. There's no sub in mine. Oh, so, back to your question, how did it get here? So, I had to bring it over from the UK, from Wales. And normally you could share a container with another car coming or going, leaving the country or entering the country, but I waited about a month or so, and nobody was bringing anything back. Finally, I just had to take the whole container myself, and I brought it back. I paid 5,000 pounds, which was $8,000 at the time, but I had to get the whole container and truckers and so forth, and it cost me about another $5,000. So I had about $13,000 in it. But still, that was a little short of $984,000. And mine goes in the water. All right, so last year, so I imported it to Charleston. And since I had sent cars out of the country, but I never brought anything in. And they randomly will scan the containers. So, it came in on 9/11, 2015. I could not believe it, 9/11. Sure enough, they scanned my container. And of course, it had things like surface-to-air missiles. So, there's a little closer version there. And I was deathly afraid somebody's going to show up at my front door and say, hey, where are those surface-to-air missiles? But I think they figured out it was just for fun, thankfully. So we had a car show at Lake Lanier, and I took that opportunity to have the premiere launch of the James Bond Lotus Esprit Marine. And so I called up a lady who publishes Lake Destination magazine as part of the Gainesville Times. And she was a big James Bond fan. I said, listen, I want to launch the boat, and why don't you come with me and bring your camera guy? So sure enough, we had a crowd of about 50 people, and we launched. The guy was shooting with his camera, and after a couple of minutes, I looked up in the air, and there was a helicopter circling around. It's like in a movie. I couldn't believe it. And it turned out that the helicopter takes pictures of different boats, and they have a website called Boat Pics that you can go to. But it was pretty wild at the time for that to happen.
So you're sitting there and you go, I wonder if this really works.
The jaws of the film, as you know. He's skilled at hitting her without leaving a mark, brutalizing her. She's unconscious, she's in the shower, she comes to. And they're like, you better remake the eggs and the bacon that you dropped when you were throwing the knives and fork at us. And then she says, in the simple act of scrambling the eggs and peppering them and adding salt, she experiences a almost Orient moment where everything is clear and sensual and real. She comes to life in the simple act of making food because she's James Bond. She's just been tortured and unconscious, and she came to a new revelation. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. But again, Spy Lemmy, she uses forks and knives as weapons. Slugsy shows her he's a great marksman by shooting a coffee can into the air, and while it's in the air spilling coffee, he shoots it again in the air and hits it again, and coffee's everywhere. I was amazed as I did this books and film, everything is food and drink. Or maybe I'm just insane, but I was amazed at how much is food and drink. Incredible. Incredible. And of course, she's a double for Fleming or Bond because she comes to life with scrambled eggs.
Is Vivian Michelle American?
Canadian.
She's Canadian and New York.
And
Well, I was just thinking that you have a position that Ian Fleming makes Americans out to be better in.
well, not
If he were
intentionally.
American, that would be contrary to that theory.
Right, but she's Canadian and she goes to finishing school in the UK, and the other girls, if you remember the novel, don't like her because she's a Canadian and she's bourgeois. And James Bond was kicked out of Eton for trouble. I'm telling you, there's so many things in Fleming that people read it. If you read it just at the face value, you miss the subtext. She's a female James Bond. It's very, very interesting. But Fleming would sometimes poke fun at America, American food. You heard me talk about Diamonds of Forever with Fleming. Everything he says about America is bad. But Las Vegas is a horrible trap, and uses food language again. It's a coarse trap where only the coarsest mice will eat the coarsest cheese. But in the Thrilling Cities nonfiction, Fleming says one of my favorite cities in the world is Las Vegas. So it's Bond having fun with Fleming being left-handed.
And didn't he say that Joe Stonecrab was the finest meal he's ever had?
Yes, we talked about that. It's the finest meal he ever had. He also documented in the book what Fleming would do with his wordplay. For example, in Diamonds Are Forever, food language peppers the novel, especially describing villains and lowlifes. Now, this is in the course of a short novel. Tiffany calls the 21 Club a hot dog stand. Pissarro wears a chocolate bow tie. Boxer has a cauliflower ear. Felix plans to nail the dough. He owes the tingling bell. The Tiara Hotel is a kidney-shaped pool, always featuring an eggshell motif. Bond's room features a breakfast patio. The Tiara layout forces guests to the casino like mice tempted by cheese. Bond munches a steak like it's Serafimo Spang's fingers. Serafimo's manicurist has butter-colored hair. Villains call Bond limey. Ernie will be killed cold turkey by a black sausage at gun sounds. Serafimo's lips cut his words like meat slices and lengths of celery. This is all Fleming. Gangsters are greaseballs stuffed with pizza and beer. Tiffany asks if she's supposed to be Miss Rheingold Beer. He's supposed to fish off the Queen Mary. She asks this while wearing her cream silk shirt that highlights her cafe au lait sunburn. Bond makes his sauce bernaise quip, and Tiffany says holy mackerel. There's food language all throughout, but even more interesting, perhaps, is the weird and odd eating. In the novel Dr. No, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me now. Try and be quick. Pussfeller gets his nickname from fighting an octopus that tried to eat him. A calypso band plays a song about a special woman in Jamaican rum. After Quarrel and a women fight, they play the song Don't Touch Me Tomato. Plato Smith explains the people of Peru eat 8 million pounds of fish per annum, but Peruvian seabirds eat 1 billion pounds of fish in the same period. Dr. No's guano cormorants eat up to 70 anchovies per meal. They eat a pound of fish to return an ounce of guano.
It speaks to the biggest challenge of this adaptation process, which is this is not visually exciting stuff, right? If at least on the most like basic level, like this isn't people punching each other in the face, it isn't buildings exploding or superpowers or whatever, and so it's very detailed and granular, and so I tried to really embrace that, and the novel has a great explanation of how the game works. And so the thing that I did that I think helps the most, because so much of the book is also very internal, there's a ton of narration. So I created this thing that just for the purpose of explaining it in the script, I call it the Bond vision, which is Bond is always going into a space and analyzing it, right? Like he's saying, like, is there like a gun under your jacket? Is there like that person has like this aspect of them that makes me think that maybe they're a threat, and just on and on. And so when he explains the game, it's that same sort of thing. So I created it to where there are visual elements, text and visual elements in the book that pop up to where you actually see the inside of his head. So as he's explaining the game, you see people playing it. You see these, essentially ghost figures and how they're moving, so that you get a window into how his head works. So it was, it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, I mean, I there were a couple of things where I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, and I came up with an idea. I was like, oh man, Fleming's going to hate this, and they were always like, we didn't know how you're going to do that, but that's great. And
Wow.
so that's great.
Oh, thank God.
So nice.
Yeah, the biggest one of those, does everyone remember, of course, there's the torture scene, which is very much the same as the Casino Royale movie, or it's very similar to the Casino Royale movie. And then there are two chapters of the novel that's just Bond in the hospital, laid up.
Yeah.
Which is, you want to talk about not visually exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And there's one chapter has flashbacks of his first assigned kills.
Yeah.
So that's at least, something. But then there's another chapter and,
And he's gonna quit.
and he's gonna quit. And the other chapter is basically Bond's manhood has been pummeled. And Vesper wants to come and see him, and he really wants to have sex with Vesper. But he's worried that he's going to be impotent.
Yeah.
And there's like 2 pages of just narration about impotency, with Bond laying in a hospital bed. So, and the fun is all the way through, like, we just don't want to like cut big chunks of stuff. We
Yeah.
don't,
Right.
it's like you
Yeah.
have to, like, this stuff is important, you just stand there and like, yeah, I'm on board with that, but in my head, I'm like, do I just have multiple pages of just like static panel of Bond in a
Yeah.
hospital bed with, this narration laid over the top of it? And then, I don't know where the idea came from, but I finally was like, oh, I got it. So it's a 2-page spread that is his handgun in 3D disassembled
Yeah.
with narration about impotency.
What
over
a
the
great
top of
idea.
it.
That is really good. That is a really good idea.
So that's,
I don't want it to be too much of a secret, but that's a really cool idea.
to me, that's like the best idea that I've come up with
Yeah.
in comics, pretty much.
Isn't that cool? That's very exciting.
So that's the kind of thing that I think that we brought to this, to where it is both a very faithful adaptation of the book, and the series will be, very faithful, but they do things as comic books that, the novel can't do, the movie can't do.
Yeah. That's really excellent.
We talked about that and graphic novel medium, which is also you taking large chunks of thought and inside Bond's head and putting into small captions.
Yeah, I mean, that's, so are most of you comic book readers, or not a few? So obviously the thing with comic books is, space is at a premium. Like, when you're writing comic books, you're almost a structural engineer of how to make story fit, and the less text, the better, typically. And so when you have, a scene of people talking back and forth, those word builders fill up really fast, captions fill up really fast. I mean, you might only have 300 to 400 words of text per page on a comic book, whereas, a novel it's all text. And so that was just such a big challenge of, the prose, Fleming's prose is strong. I mean, he was a phenomenal writer. And I think he's very, very underrated in that regard. So,
You must have been my last name.
are we carrying over well?
Yeah, I mean, you're scratching my itch, which I spent a lot of it. Spycon saying, read Ian Fleming. Vast. Now, this is an author who sold 60 million books in a dozen languages. And the movies loom so large that he's overshadowed, and he's one of the most underrated novelists of all time. And had this journey talked about, she was a journalist that had to write punchy journalism.
Yeah, I mean, his prose, it's understated, but it's not, it's not that like so punchy, and
It's not Mickey Spillane.
Yeah.
He's erudite and uses this beautiful language, even though he's insulting.
yeah, and it's not Hemingway either, that this like beautiful prose, but in super stripped down language. But yeah, it's its own thing. I mean, it's almost, I've been going back to a lot of Agatha Christie, and I think that there's a through line there, even, of super readable That resonated, all right?
Absolutely. This comes from British anti-intellectualism, where people, I mean, I'm doing a panel later of the Carey versus Bond, and they're both fantastic writers.
Absolutely.
But Ian Fleming and Agatha Christie and Enid Blyton, a kids writer, they all write such simple and yet complicated language that pseudo-intellectuals don't get.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think
Correct.
that there was really sort of beginning with Fleming, going into the 70s especially, and then, this is not my era, so please correct me if I'm far afield there, but there was that movement of the capital W writing of, this is serious writing, and it's especially the American MFA type of literature that is just has no sense of story, and at least for the training for me to read. And I think those writers and the people that became kind of worshippers of those writers had just disdain for anything that felt genre in any way, and that's not where I come from. Anything that is elevated, like well-written, elevated genre, that's what I love to read.
Which segues into the next question. The beautiful thing that is comics, and a great friend of Don McGregor who went through the struggle, and I have movie people here and what people here. What were your notes like towards the artists? Where you said, as every great comics writer does, how much did you put your foot on the gas pedal and say, really want Bonds right on the rail up here? Or how much did you say, you know what, the scene is a casino and they're set in stone? Well, how much direction did you give your art guys?
So this actually connects back to the previous question, which is what to do with all of this narration, right? So what I try to do is, as much as possible, so you have like a block like this of narration, right? And some of that is description of the scene. Well, the visuals of the art are going to replicate that. But then some of it is description of feel or emotion. And so I would try to take the descriptors of the more ephemeral aspects or emotive aspects and use those as captions. But then when I'm writing the panel descriptions, actually take the text that Fleming wrote, take his descriptive text, and just pass that direct to the artist. Because why am I going to
That's so
describe?
amazing, because normally I would think you do it the other way. You see the Hobbit adaptation, and you see Tolkien's text, and then they tell the artist that Gandalf has a beard, this was in his head, and you do the opposite. Right. This experience.
Yeah, I mean, I had to strip it down a lot, obviously, just for space purposes, but I wanted, and there were times where a novel and a graphic novel are just very, very different things. They operate in very different ways. So there were points where, a novel is this sort of flowing thing, and it can go to a point and then sort of skip to another point very easily, whereas, you have page breaks in comics, and you have, it's a series of sort of, it's these ellipses, right? It's like staccato moment, and it's really important how you structure it of how each moment leads into the next. And so there would be times where I would have to kind of look for what are the moments within there that not described super clearly. So I would have to fill in a bit. It's like we have this panel and we have this panel, but it's clear that there are, three things that happen between there. And how do I sort of...
And you had that tremendous confidence that he works. Now we're going to go to Fergus Fleming and Lucy, and we look at it and go, yes or no.
Exactly.
You got a lot of confidence.
And everything that I did, I knew it's not like if I wanted to, I could get anything past them because they're very eagle-eyed. But I went within that, and anytime there was anything that was not just this direct pull from the novel, I would have a note in the report that would say, this is something that I changed, this is why I changed it, please let me know what you think. Because that's, I mean, that's just, I wanted to make sure that they knew that I respected them, that I respected the work. And it was, they, within comics, and I think it's because there have been different efforts to do comics that have not worked out, but there's a sort of reputation among British comic book creators, I guess, that the filming state is hard to work with. And I think that some of that is simply just a lack of understanding of how editorial process should work. I mean, I've been an editor. I like editors. I think editors are essential. And again, it's, you want an oversight to. I mean, I'm not scared of being pushed to do more work to make the product better.
And then tell people that in my off time, I do this despicable, horrible character known in 007. Oh no, not that guy. This guy here, Blofeld, and we would go on to this. And basically, I dubbed in a little bit. Now that was the cover for a DVD. I said, grandfather of modern spy films. Could that have been, one of the progenitors of the spy genre? And then I said, well, okay, let's analyze both films and see what element, because Casablanca has been an enduring film. 75 years this year, it's been out. 8 Academy Award nominations, 3 wins, and it is the most quoted on the, well, I've got that later on the slide, but it's one of the most quoted with 6 that are, top level stuff. So I've got a little clip here of a montage of things, and when we get done, we'll go through and say, okay, what are these elements? There's going to be a lot of, it might look confusing, but as you will see.
I was just going to say there's Timothy Hunts in there.
Such an eclectic place. I mean, this was a crossroads of Nazi soldiers, underground resistance fighters, expats that were trying to get back to the United States. I mean, it was a really, really strange place.
What comes to mind also when you hear the word Casablanca, we have Night at Casablanca with the Marx Brothers, remember that?
Right.
And that was, I believe, MGM, wasn't it?
I think you're right. Yeah.
And what happened was that Warner Brothers said, no, you can't use that title. Because it was too much like, yeah, like Casablanca, the hit they had had.
Yeah.
And they negotiated somehow and they released it under that title.
Yeah, and that was a sacrosanct movie. No producer has ever wanted to touch Casablanca since then. You know how many redos they do? No, they said no. That is sacrosanct. You leave that alone. No one will ever redo that movie.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because this came at a time when Warner Brothers, all the actors were contract actors, and when they started Warner Brothers at the time was putting out one movie every week. So this was just a standard Warner contract movie. Just nobody expected it to be, some blockbuster movie. And of course, they all, did their best. Actors wanted to perform their best that they can. But then when they saw the reaction and the fact that it was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, it was like, wow, we really didn't know what we were into when we were doing this. And then again, it's lasted this long and it's still popular. I saw it actually in the big screen just about 3 or 4 months ago. We have what's called Flashback Cinema, and every Sunday and Wednesday they do classics. And thank God that I'd only seen Casablanca on the TV because I had the disc. And I thought, wow, I'm gonna go. And so watching on the big screen again is even a better experience.
Right, I saw it 16 years ago at one of these conventions.
Yeah.
And it was really nice seeing it, like that large.
Yeah. But anyway, it was quite a movie, and still continues to be quite a movie, probably will be long enough.
So they were all under contract with Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
At the time, there wasn't anybody that was a loan out
No.
at that time?
Nope, they didn't, I call them free agents in the parlance of today's, athletic people, but, no, they were all contract paid, on a contract basis, just a salary, you get a check, and then you were kind of tapped on the shoulder, you're gonna be in this, you're gonna be, there was no choice, it's like, Bogart could have said, well, that's not
Yeah, I
for
don't
me,
know.
they would have said, you're under contract, you do what we tell you to do.
Right.
And that was it, so, which was an interesting way to do it. I do kind of like the new way better because they can model the role to the actor and get them, you know, a little better fitting. But they did a pretty good job back then. I mean, with this, but I think this was actually a blend, kind of almost a happenstance blend. I really don't know that they were expecting the kind of chemistry and, you know, everything to work out quite like it did. It was just another contract.
Did George Raft turn down the part first?
Who?
Before George Raft? Before?
Yes, he did. He had
before,
another, he had
Bogey.
another commitment,
Okay.
and he could have gotten out of it, but he otherwise, and he was, apparently he was kicking himself for not being able to do that part.
Yeah, he turned down a number of things, which I think would have been advantageous for him.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And that's why he kicks himself, because, you know, once he saw it and saw the appeal of it. And I think George Raft could have done, it would have
Yeah.
been a much different movie, but I think it still would have been a good movie.
Yeah, I think it would have been a good movie, but, you know, Bogey was hot at the time.
Exactly,
And,
exactly. So,
You know, it's hard to replace him because you have hit after hit after hit, you know,
Yeah.
like High Sierra, and then, you
Travel
have
Marseille, Maltese Falcon.
Maltese Falcon, yeah, you had all, and run after the other, and then you kind of, the culmination is probably the Big Sleep. I mean, because right after that, his persona began to change a little bit more.
Yeah,
You know, you didn't get the hard-boiled, cynical detective and things like that, you know.
and then another role that I love him in, probably my favorite role of Bogart was the King,
Oh, yeah,
Captain Queeg. I mean, God.
but that's a different type of part, you know.
Yeah.
You know, if he had not, you know, and I think that they contend that today, that if he had not done those movies, the movies of the 40s, by the time he did K-Muni, it wouldn't have been his movie.
Yeah.
Because nobody sits down and says, wow, you know, K-Muni, did you see that? They all go back to the
Right.
Maltese Falcon,
Yeah.
you know, Casablanca, you know, High Sierra, you know, all those films, you know, up to that point. You know, it is really his persona.
Yeah.
You know. So, that's just my opinion.
Well, and that's what I like to hear. I like to, and that's why it's nice to have these kind of forums where, you know, you can call BS on me and that's fine.
No.
We can go back and forth.
But, you know, also Ingrid Bergman was pretty hot at the time because she had just done what, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde,
Yeah.
the year before at Metro, her and Lana Turner. And,
And of course, I mean, she's just a classy lady.
yeah, and to be in that, you know, just to, because they could have gotten anybody.
Yeah.
And Dvorak or somebody like that, and it'd just been a regular B movie.
Yeah.
You know.
But again, it was part of the thing about the lighting with her looking misty-eyed like that. When I read that, I went, oh my God, yeah, these guys thought of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And the dialogue, such succinct dialogue, that every single word in there is important to something about the movie. There's no extraneous, no extra, no fat. They cut all the fat off. I mean, it's just meat, and that's why every time I watch it, I get a little piece of dialogue. And say, damn, I didn't get that the last time. Because you may be looking, I might be looking at the, you know, the camera angles or something like that, and I missed the dialogue and the inflection and all that. I mean, it really, yeah, it was amazing. Now they just rely too much on bang bang and big explosions and you know,
CGI.
50-story buildings falling over, and you know, this was you could see the emotion, you could feel it. But I just hate to sit in a movie and watch 15 minutes of just sheer destruction for destruction's sake. I mean, if it's appropriate, fine. I mean, you know, same thing with cussing. I don't like MF this, MF every other word after 10 minutes, it's like, really? I mean,
I know, that's my problem with
don't
reading
have to say that. But if you're dealing with some mafia boss, yeah, you expect some pretty foul language to come out of his mouth, so, and that's why I think back then, most of the dialogue and the scenes were appropriate to the story they were trying to tell. They weren't just trying to throw stuff in to say, you know, we want to try a new CGI technique, let's just throw this in. Not for any reason, just to see if we can do it.
They were topping, you know, let's top this one from another film.
It's like when Lucas went back and redid the 3 original Star Wars movies.
Which is terrible.
It was,
I mean, that's my opinion.
it
It's terrible.
sucked. It was, let's face it.
I mean, why?
Yeah, why? Why? Because it could be done. That was the only reason. Not because it improved the movie, only because it could be done. And that's not a good reason to do things.
No. If you're gonna do it, make a remake. I mean, you know, just go ahead and make a remake or something.
Yeah.
And then people can judge whether or not it's better.
Yeah. Anyway.
But, Casablanca, you know, Conrad Veidt is one of the great villains of cinema. And he has a following, even today, that's incredible. And his films,
Yeah.
that practically ended after this one. Because didn't he die something like 6 months later? After making that film? Conrad Veidt.
What about it?
Didn't he die like 6 months later after Casablanca was filmed? So
It wasn't very long, yeah.
It was on a golf course, I believe.
Or paperclip or
Yeah.
something, or some other, you know, some other items, something
Right.
from a pen or something.
So it
like
actually
that. What's
works.
realistic?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, with Molly Quinn's character in Castle, she pulls out a couple bobby pins because they're stuck in a freezer or something, and she's doing that. A lot of times for especially kids when they're, you know, they learn a lot of picking, they see online and stuff. They use paper clips, they use bobby pins, and you can take paper clips and just bend up, kind of double them up, and you can use them as picks and, you know, that kind of thing. Actual real picks, as long as they're in the shape, you know, of most picks, then you can use that. And I've seen a lot of people have to get out of things with paper clips before.
Well, so like on the rake, because the rake basically, it's got the zigzag.
Right.
So is there some specifics to that? Or if you did a paper clip and just start bending like things into, are those spaced a certain distance apart?
No, well, every lock, the manufacturer has certain distance between the pins. So you can't, there wouldn't be a real good way to make a pick just for a certain manufacturer. So it's kind of they've made certain peaks at certain levels that work well. And a lot of times with picks, people will make their own, like you said, with paper clips. But if you, inside your car, in your windshield wipers, there's actually a long piece of metal that helps them stay straight on your window. And that piece of metal is the perfect thickness for lock picks and tension tools. So next time you change your windshield wipers out, pull a piece of metal, make your own lock picks.
I think your wife mentioned she used like underwire from a bra.
Yeah, I take an underwire out of her bra.
Yeah.
Because it's curved already, and there's a specific type of lock pick called a Bogota that has a little bit of a curve to it, and it's the same size, same width of just bra underwire. So I took that and some files and just filed it into picks that I carried for a while on my hat.
Like Agent Carter.
The other questions?
No, what about handcuffs? How do you pick a handcuff?
So handcuffs are really easy. I wish I would have brought my handcuffs with me now.
You got any over the?
We have handcuffs. Let's go.
Do any of the ladies here have a bobby pin?
Yeah, some of the
I want
tables.
today, I want today. You want to do that? You want to make handcuffs?
Yes,
That's why it's not.